Did you know that every writer, no matter how experienced they are, experiences self-doubt at least a little bit in their writing career? Hi, I'm Rachel, a writing coach, and I help writers all over the world find their voice and tell their stories. In today's video, we're going to talk about self-doubt and how you can overcome it to believe in your writing. The truth is that self-doubt is part of the creative process. Writers from all walks of life experience it at some point in their journey, and some, like Maya Angelou, actually talk about it all the time. It's natural, normal, and you don't have to deal with it by yourself. That's why I'm here. Something that's really important to understand about self-doubt is just because it shows up in the writing process does not mean that it has to have an impact in how you tell your stories. In fact, I experience self-doubt and imposter syndrome every single day, but I've learned strategies to overcome it and to not let it define my writing journey. That's what I'm going to show you today. After you accept that self-doubt is normal and just part of the experience, the next thing I need you to do is focus on progress, not perfection. Perfectionism kills creativity and is one of the major reasons that many people don't finish writing their books at all. When I work with students one-on-one, I teach them that the first, second, and third drafts they write are allowed to be terrible. They just have to exist. That's what editing is for. And if you sit down to write something or paint something or do whatever it is you're trying to do, and you show up and there's a voice in your head saying that it's never going to be good enough, just kick it to the curb and say, you know what? I'm going to make a step today. Even if that step is terrible and I fall down the stairs, I'm going to take a step, and that's more than a lot of people are willing to do in their lifetimes. Next, you're going to seek constructive feedback. Now, a lot of people who experience self-doubt and are unexperienced with dealing with it think that seeking feedback is actually going to feed into their doubt. The opposite is actually true. When you find someone that's willing to work with you and that looks at your work and they offer feedback, most of the time you're going to find that it's actually better than you thought it was. Also, seeking constructive feedback, even if it doesn't make us feel good about the work, gets us more and more used to receiving feedback all the time. And so when we receive feedback, whether it's positive or negative, we have practice with dealing with it. And our emotions are not going to be all over the place like they would be if it was something unexpected. Next, you're going to develop a growth mindset. So, in self development and in coaching, you'll hear this all the time. But basically, a growth mindset is saying that everything that happens to me, I can use for my advantage. Instead of feeling stuck, I'm going to say, all right, I'm here for a purpose. There's something I'm supposed to learn here. There's something I'm supposed to do. And I'm not going to be able to move on until I learn it. When you develop a growth mindset, you take experiences and you learn to see what is useful in all of them, whether they make you feel bad or feel good. In the writing space, when we receive feedback from something or someone that doesn't make us feel all warm and fuzzy inside, using a growth mindset can still help us use that feedback for our advantage and arbitrate some of those feelings that make us feel less worthy. It also means that the voice of self-doubt is not as powerful as it used to be. The next step is to celebrate your unique voice. So, something that I come across a lot with especially newer writers is this comparison between their voice and the voice of someone else. If there's a book that's currently going viral on social media, or if it's on the top of the New York Times bestseller list, a lot of younger writers or inexperienced writers will say, well, unless my work sounds like theirs, it's never going to succeed. That, my friend, is a prime example of how self doubt destroys the creative process. The truth is that you have a story and you are the only person who is able to tell the story in the way that you will. Sure, if you handed your work to someone that is very experienced or someone that's very successful, they could likely tell a similar story, but the world is never going to know what it would have been like unless you tell it the way that you were born to tell it. Your voice may need skills to develop, and you might need some tools and tricks to unlock the things that are going to make it shine, but you're never going to sound not like you. So if you're waiting for you to sound like another writer, give up right now, because that's never going to happen. And when you do celebrate your unique voice and you start to just let go of all these expectations of sounding like somebody else, you're going to find that your confidence in your writing is going to go up a lot. Next, we're going to start practicing positive self-talk. So this is something that you can do not just in the writing space, but in every space you occupy in life. A lot of times people feel like if they say something nice about themselves or something that is positive about themselves, then they're being prideful or arrogant. And the truth is that confidence gets mixed up with arrogance all the time. In fact, practicing positive self-talk is something you can do to encourage yourself when it feels like no one else is going to do it. One of the hardest lessons I had to learn, not just as a writer, but as a coach and just a person existing on planet Earth, is that I have to be my biggest cheerleader. There are days when no one is going to be able to cheer me up because I have set myself in a mindset that's just uncheer-upable. But if I practice positive self-talk, then I can get myself out of those stages of self-doubt and actually make some progress in my life. What positive self-talk looks like is, instead of being derogatory towards yourself for something you did wrong, you say, look at me, I'm trying. I made a mistake, but I put myself out there. I may feel silly, but I'm willing to do things that other people are not willing to try. Even if you write a book and people hate it and they give you a 1-star review or maybe a 0-star review and you go viral for being the worst book that's ever written, which is not going to happen, by the way, then at least you can say, well, I wrote a book and 97% of you did not. Ultimately, the best thing you can do to overcome creative self-doubt is to just keep writing. More practice, more exposure, more experience is the only thing that's going to rub off the shock that comes with putting yourself out there in the world. Self-doubt is often the result of being unsure about the outcome of a situation. And let's face it, when you put yourself out there on the internet and out there for the public face, we never really know what's going to happen. I've been online for a long time and I still don't know what's going to happen day to day. So self-doubt does sometimes show up and try to get in my way. When I started this YouTube channel, the first thing I thought was, well, I'm not a YouTuber. Who is that? I've never done videos like this before. I'm never going to remember what I'm trying to say. I'm never going to have a good quality video. And it made me put it off for a long time, until I realized that self-doubt is just lying to me. It's just trying to keep me safe, but actually it's holding me back. So keep practicing, keep writing, keep telling stories. No matter what the voice in your head tells you, I promise you it gets easier. And as you get better at it, you gain your confidence. And as you gain your confidence, that self-doubt gets quieter and quieter. I can't promise that it'll go away completely, but at least you'll have the tools to navigate self-doubt when it shows up in your life. So, which of today's tips helped you the most? Is there anything I missed? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're here, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel so we can send these videos out to writers all over the world and help them conquer their self-doubt as well. In the description, there's a link to the Complete Novelist Kit. This is the kit that I use to teach all of my students how to find their writing voice and tackle their writing goals. And this year alone, I've had 5 students complete their manuscripts using the tools in this kit. I can't wait for you to get your hands on it, so make sure you check it out. Also, you can check out the Patreon. We have a thriving writing community there. The link is also in the description. I hope you stop by. I hope we get to chat on Patreon, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, in the comments, let me know what you would like me to cover next. I can't wait to hear from you. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with me today, and I hope this helped with your self-doubt. Happy writing!